The centre court crowd at the All England club rose to its feet in collective disbelief. On one side of the net stood Iga Świątek, the defending champion, the six-time Grand Slam winner, the woman who had conquered Wimbledon just 12 months earlier. On the other side stood a 21-year-old from the Philippines who, until this week, had never won a match at the All England club. The tennis world expected a coronation. Instead, they witnessed history. Eala had just done the unthinkable. She had beaten the defending champion on centre court in straight sets, 7-6-9, 6-2, in a performance that will be talked about for generations. As she collapsed to the grass after converting her third match point, the magnitude of what she had achieved began to sink in. She wasn't just the first player from the Philippines to reach the fourth round of a Grand Slam in the Open era. She had just produced one of the greatest upsets in Wimbledon history. The bombshell had been dropped, and the tennis world was left walking onto centre court for just the second time in her career. Eala carried more than just her tennis racket. She carried the hopes of 115 million Filipinos, a nation more accustomed to celebrating boxing and basketball heroes than tennis stars. But if the pressure weighed on her, she didn't show it. From the very first point, Eala refused to be intimidated by the occasion or by her opponent. She had history on her side before a ball was struck. She had already become the first player from the Philippines to reach the third round at Wimbledon. But this was different. This was centre court. This was the defending champion. And this was the moment that would define her career. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Świątek, the world number 3, had won 6 Grand Slams and was determined to become the first woman since Serena Williams in 2016 to successfully defend her Wimbledon title. Eala had other plans. She stepped onto the grass with the confidence of a player who had beaten Świątek before, at the Miami Open in 2025. That memory mattered. It told her that the defending champion was beatable, and she played like she believed it from the very first point. The opening set was a masterpiece of tennis. A gripping tug-of-war that stretched for 84 minutes, and had the centre court crowd on the edge of their seats. Świątek struck first, breaking Eala in the third game to take an early lead. But Eala, showing the resilience that has defined her tournament run, broke back immediately to level at 2-2. Both players traded heavy blows from the baseline, but Eala consistently pinned Świątek deep behind the court, forcing the pole into uncharacteristic errors. The Filipina capitalized on Świątek's vulnerable second serves and broke again in the 8th game to move ahead 5-3. She served for the set and even held a set point at 40-30. But Świątek, with the instincts of a 6-time Grand Slam champion, dug deep. She saved the set point and reeled off the next 2 games to seize a 6-5 lead. Eala refused to wilt. She held serve to force a tiebreak, and the drama intensified. Eala surged into a 5-2 lead in the tiebreak, only for Świątek to claw her way back to 5-5. Both players earned set points. Świątek had 2 of them. Both disappeared as Eala displayed remarkable composure under the brightest spotlight in tennis. On her third set point opportunity, Eala finally closed it out. Świątek's forehand sailed long, and the Filipina threw her hands in the air in celebration. The first set belonged to the underdog. If the heartbreaking loss of the first set deflated Świątek, it did the opposite for Eala. Her confidence soaring, she stormed out of the gates in the second set, winning the first 4 games to put herself firmly in control. The defending champion was suddenly on the ropes. Świątek's normally reliable game had deserted her. She finished the match with 44 unforced errors and 5 double faults to just 1 ace. Her frustration was palpable. She yelled at her box, she threw her racket, and she looked utterly lost. The pole tried to fight back, winning 2 games to keep her hopes alive at 4-2. For a moment, it seemed like the champion might stage a comeback. But Eala quickly halted the momentum with another service break, moving within 1 game of victory at 5-2. The final game was a marathon, taking over 10 minutes as Świątek fought desperately to stay in the match. She had 4 break points. 4. But Eala was the braver player on the biggest points. She saved all 4 and converted her 3rd match point of the final game, sealing the biggest victory of her career. The centre court crowd erupted. The defending champion was out. As the reality of her achievement set in, Eala was overcome with emotion. She threw herself to the ground and covered her face with her hands. In her on-court interview, she struggled to find the words. "It's difficult to describe. I'm in the 2nd week of a slam, and it's incredible for me," she said. But it was her post-match reflection that truly captured the moment. "I'm really emotional, and maybe for someone like Iga, who has won so many slams, or someone like Serena or Venus Williams, this achievement might seem small," she said. "But for someone who grew up in the Philippines. I trained with my mother and my grandfather every day after school with ruffled socks and chubby cheeks, so this is everything." The tennis world watched a star being born. Świątek, gracious in defeat, acknowledged the quality of her opponent. "For sure she's using her strengths, the change of rhythm and everything," she had said before the match. On the day, Eala had used every weapon in her arsenal. The upset sends shockwaves through the bottom half of the draw, which had already been blown open by the earlier exit of Elena Rybakina. With her victory over Świątek, Eala has added another milestone to Philippine tennis history. She is now the first Filipino ever to reach the round of 16 at Wimbledon, surpassing the previous best finishes of tennis legends Felicissimo Ampon, who reached the 3rd round in 1949, 1950, and 1953, and Raimundo Dairo, who matched that feat in 1948 and 1953. The 21-year-old will now face 2024 Wimbledon runner-up Jasmine Paolini in the 4th round. It is another familiar matchup for Eala. The two have faced each other before, and Paolini represents a formidable challenge. But after what she has achieved this week, nothing seems impossible for the young Filipina. Świątek's defeat means no woman has successfully defended the singles title at Wimbledon since Serena Williams in 2016. It is also Świątek's earliest exit from a major tournament since another 3rd-round defeat at Wimbledon 2 years ago. But for Eala, this is just the beginning. "Because I am emotional does not mean I am satisfied," she declared. "Next round, let's go. The tennis world is watching. And Eala is just getting started."